Right, so I've moved this on a little bit. So everything, all the pipes, all the wiring, you can see the connectors, label all you, get one of them little liquid paper markers. Oh, I say that, and then you can see the little marker on it, letter R, put letters on. Take videos or pictures of where it routes, you put it back identical as when it left the factory, when you put it back in. So that's it, mountings are out the way, support it underneath. Okay, Scott, send her up. And there you go, up it goes. This is called a divorce. I always like saying that. So there we go. Now we've got to just take the engine apart. That'll do there, Scott. So there you go, engine's on the floor. Dead easy to get to now. Do a cam belt while we're there. We'll do the valves. There's the car, nothing left inside there. So we're ready to roll. So this is the deck or top of the block. So super clean with this. Best way to clean this is a block, a metal block. What I do is I use a body shop block. See that? Nice and flat. And then I get 80s, block up all your holes as best you can. Some of these waterways you're not going to be able to block up. So if you can't, just 80s, get it all smoothed down, get all the dirt off it. You're going to see some impregnated marks in there. Do not worry. Then go down to 180s with your block until it's clean. Then you've got to get your airline, blow out everything. You've obviously had tissue down your liners, your pistons were all leveled down there. And you've now got a scenario where you blow out, I use rust penetrant down the bolt holes and then blow them out with a rag around them. And you've just got to be super clinical clean. Round these dowels that locate the head gasket in the head, you know, you don't want a clump round the edge that could probably just lift the head off. So do that. That's on top dead centre, meaning pistons at the top of the bore. Little mark on the bottom pulley is a reference mark, because what you do is when you're putting your head on, you don't leave it on TDC there, because if you've got your camshafts in, you're going to have a problem that your valves might hit that. So just drop it down by turning the engine over. Now a little bit of a tip, not so much on this engine, I've checked it, but you see those dowels that locate the head and the head gasket? Yeah, get your vernier gauge with the depth part and set it so you know the length of that dowel. Now over to your cylinder head. This is where the dowel locates. Put your vernier in. Once the vernier's in, undo the screw, and I can just feel that it's dropped down. So just make sure. So I'll just tighten that down at the drop down point, like so. Let's go back over to the engine. Now you can see that dowel, you can see the air gap. It's very difficult for me to show you this, but there's an air gap underneath, meaning that the hole in the head, a bit difficult, but there you go. The hole in the head is deeper than the dowel, because what you don't want to do is have it skimmed. The tolerances on these dowels, and especially on some of the K-series engines, the old Rovers and bits like that back in the day, yeah, if you had it skimmed, they can bind inside the hole in the head, and that way when you torque your head down, your head is stuck on that and you won't seal here, and that's a major problem because you'll be getting it back very quickly. So just do that as a rule of thumb. And then once you've done that bit, all you need to do is get your new gasket. Look at that, wow. And look at that. And you don't even want to put your head on there, do you? It looks beautiful. So there you go. Head gasket's on, and we're ready to put the head on. So we're going to brake clean with a cloth the head, drop it on there, and we can start building up and torquing it down. Okay, so you're ready to put your head on here. Now, you're holding this mass of metal that you've had some beautiful engineering work done, and it's all surface ground. And these dowels, if you're sliding it about, what they're going to do, go over there, is they're going to scratch all around here. Yeah, and they're going to scratch it all. So put some bolts through put 2 bolts, new bolts through, and locate those bolts. There you go, hold the camera where it is, that'd be better. So locate those bolts as you drop it on in the bolt holes. That way, drop straight down and you're not sliding it around and trying to locate it and scratching all the surface of the head you've just had machined. So that's a good tip, that. More useless information for you. Right, I'll get it on. Right, so if you notice, on here, there's these areas where sealer goes in and seals the cam carrier to the cylinder head. Now, you'll see these areas where there's a gallery that's actually, get my phone camera on it so you can see, there's a gallery there to stop that sealer going over into the oil way here, there, because you don't want any sealer. We get cars in that have been repaired before and they're covered in silicon seal. It's not good. Now, one thing I highly recommend you buy for this, I'll try and put a link in the description below, and is this stuff here. It's an anaerobic sealer. Can't even say it. Anaerobic sealer. And what it does, it's a silicon seal. So I'll just show you some of it when it comes out. So if you have a look, we can get some out. And I've picked up one that's nearly empty. Oh, there you go. So you can see that sealer there. It's a silicon sealer, but it's like a Hylamar-based compound. The good thing about that is, if that goes in an oil way, it's washed away. It only sets when it's compressed. So any of the areas where it shouldn't be, it'll be safe to do it. Now, some cam carriers are so tight on tolerances between the bearing areas, I'm getting it all over it, the bearing areas and the oil ways, and where you need to seal with a gasket, you've got to use anaerobic sealer, sort of like a TD5 Land Rover or Discovery or something like that. You're never going to get away with it with normal silicon. You can cause a right nightmare. So yeah, get some anaerobic sealer and put this on, and then you're not going to have any issues. It's fantastic stuff. So there you go. I'm going to seal this up neatly. I'll do a quick picture of it and then squirt it on top and torque it down. Okay, there you go. There's the anaerobic sealer. I said it properly that time. And that's on the cam cover. Think where it needs to be. There's a plate on the end. This doesn't need sealing. It's just straight to the cylinder head, just oil ways. You don't need it. Tubes for the spark plugs, obviously the coil packs you do, and around the front, but you don't need thousands of tons. You don't need a full tube on there, just a fine bead, and it'll squeeze out nicely. Because it's anaerobic, it won't go in anything that's going to cause it a problem. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to oil up the journals for the cam, slide it over the top of the end, over the head, and torque it all down. Okay, so there it is. It's all built up and we're ready to put it in. So got a new gasket for there. £8 that was, just for one gasket for the exhaust. So Volkswagen are getting very expensive on bits. So there you go, one car. So we're going to get that down and we're going to put it in there. Now I'm only going to connect the wiring and the fuel, the exhaust. Then I can start it up, make sure everything's okay. Should be anyway, but we'll do that. Just a matter of course, I always do that. And then once it's right, we'll build it all up. So watch this space.